Hey, Lee Wolf here. Welcome to TechFace Live. It is a very cold Friday here, and as always, I have Mr. Richie Bello sitting by my side. And today we have a special guest, Sviat Kozak, who is the Senior Manager of Business Development for Byte, who are experts in data crawling. How you guys doing?
Doing well,
Good.
Lee. Thanks for having me.
Good, good. It's good to have you on the show. So as always, just before we get rolling on the show here, I'm just going to run a quick video from our sponsor, Shop Smart Autos, on the SSA VIN retention report. Getting new customers is exciting and necessary, but while attracting new customers is important, retaining your customers creates an unending stream of revenue that keeps your dealership moving forward. Whether you're a marketing team for car dealerships or a dealership yourself, Shop Smart Autos has your retention tool, the VIN Retention Report. Anyone can find out how many cars they sold in a given period of time, but your VIN Retention Report will show by VIN the vehicles or customers you retained and the ones you lost. But that's not all. ShopSmart's technology can show you where your VINs ended up. Did they trade them in at another dealership? Did they switch models? Did they sell their vehicle privately or go to auction? You're constantly spending marketing dollars and time trying to target your current customers, but you could be marketing to customers that have moved on. And now you'll have the power to see where they went and change your strategy to target them in ways that brings them back. Not to mention, you can identify your strengths and weaknesses within the dealership to help lift up your staff and give them the confidence and drive they need to retain and gain your customers. The VIN Retention Report is yours at ShopSmartAutos, the number 4, dealers.com. It's the most powerful retention tool out there. All right, so welcome back. Thanks for listening and watching. So, Sviat, tell us a little bit about yourself and what XByte provides for its customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as mentioned, my name is Sviat. Bit of a funny sounding name. I'm originally from Ukraine, but have lived in the US for quite some time. Um, and I am, as you mentioned previously, the business development manager for XByte. And XByte is essentially a data crawling, data scraping company where we provide raw data and dashboarding to an extent to a lot of our global clients. And I mean, data scraping, there's different ways to kind of phrase this, but we're able to extract and visualize large volumes of data for our commercial clients that are either looking to go to market with a new product, get some competitor information on pricing, or nutritional factors for retail and CPG, and anything in between. So lots of potential when it comes to data. It all depends on kind of how you want to utilize it and what the end goal is. So the way that we do this is a company or a person will come to us asking for a specific use case, whether it's, like I mentioned previously, retail, pricing, anything of that sort, and we're able to gather it from any web application, mobile web application, or any website, and then we present it to them in a manner where a data will be able to tell a story of what they're looking to accomplish.
Wow, wow. And you guys were pretty early adopters of AI or machine learning?
Yeah, so the company was founded on the basis of RPA, robotic process automation. So if you guys are familiar with the Blue Prisms and the UiPaths of the world, which essentially, like, I mean, AI is a bit buzzword nowadays, right? But it started off as, keystrokes and mouse clicks just mirroring human behavior. And now AI is coming to sort of the intersection where, we have like the ChatGPT, we have the uh, AI video, AI images, and at the end of the day, AI only works as well as you prompt it and program it, and it all goes back to data. Because the better your data is, the more you're able to accomplish with it. So, I don't like using the word AI because it's such a buzzword, like I mentioned previously, but I think we are in a position where, with the vast amounts of data that we have, we're able to really get these large language models going. And I think 2025 is going to be a really good year for us.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and Richie, I know like in the past, not now, there was kind of like a stigma with crawling, right?
Well,
What do you feel
crawling is
changed?
like this. Like when we started, these dealers, you got my inventory, you got my inventory. Okay. Then Google came out with their own crawling, and then that was fine. It was scraping, and now Google crawls it. I mean, and Mr. Dealer, like, what do you want? Do you want to get your inventory out there? Or you don't. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't want us to have your inventory. Okay. So then you don't get out there. It's like everybody has it. It's public information. So after Google started that, then it was over. But at the beginning, in the beginning of it 5 years ago, I had all kinds of problems. People didn't understand.
Right.
But crawling's been around since Google's been around.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. That's why you got the Search Console from Google. What do you think that's about when they index your website? When
Right.
they're indexing you, they're indexing you and it's out there everywhere. It's part of the process. It's a digital world today. But I want to touch on a few things here. The most important thing about crawling data is to build different stuff to get data and make it into an analytical platform where it tells a story at the end of the day to the business owner. Why, Mr. Business Owner? Well, I do an ad, right? And I get this traffic, massive traffic. He tells me, well, you know what? This is not really working. Okay. But here it is. Here's all your devices showing up. Here's your competitor that's a bigger brand than you. And he's got less traffic than you. Okay. So you can't tell in today's world, you can't tell a marketer if that marketer is really a data-driven marketer. A lot of them say they are, but they don't even know. They don't even know how to get the data.
Right.
Alone driven data, right? The data tells a story. Just like an automotive dealer right now. You could say whatever you want. These are your cars. This is that. Yeah. Could he get better? Absolutely. But that dealership knows already where they're at. I mean, the story is real simple. These people have your cars, the sister stores and all that. Everything is there. We can eliminate the sister stores and all that stuff. But bottom line is, the real truth of the matter is it's against your dealership, even if it is that your own brand is selling them. Oh, you got to be careful with that because there's stores out there that they have 10% of retention and it's throughout their whole organization. Put another 30. That's still terrible. 40 or 50% is terrible on retention. So, I mean, I don't understand it, and you got all these DMS marketing people that are looking for what's not right about it. Okay, we could do that. We can go into what's not right about it, but what is right, let's focus on. Does the product work for you or not, period? You know what I mean? You get all these analytics, you have all this stuff, does it work for you or not? That's right. What you gotta say. Maybe the communication between you speaking to the dealership, they might not understand.
Right.
You put somebody on there like me and they'll understand.
Right.
But you're losing those customers, you're losing them, period.
Right.
There's no question about it. Even if your group is getting them and you're not retaining on that particular dealership, your franchise value drops.
Right.
Don't care what anybody tells me, And the data thing today is a big thing. Well, why is it such a big thing? Because you can't really build, like I don't say AI either. I say machine learning.
Right.
Because everybody who uses AI, the name AI, the marketers. The AI is, everybody's impressed by it. I'm really not, because Clickable's been out since 2006. And since we got it, it was always
machine
learning.
Right.
Okay. So this AI stuff, that's just marketers, there's plenty of people that use the term AI and they don't even know what the process is. They don't know that you need automation, number one, and you need big data to even get any AI. Okay. So there's a lot of people out there that don't really understand it and they just use that term freely. But having data, now you can build any settings and make it automation and make it AI. You can build anything.
Right.
So, I mean, and like for an example, crawlers, what they use is this bot that scrapes. It's all automation. It's more automation than anything else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the automation is key, and you got automation scripts, and you got all this type of technology in today's world that you pick up data. A lot of people don't understand how hard it works to get the data, the crawl data into an automation platform and into a reporting platform.
Right.
And
everyone thinks we're living in the matrix here. And
it's not that easy like people think it is. So data guys are very, very important. And we use data guys all the time. And this is one of the companies that we give a kudos to, that guys, you know, go out there and reach out to them. If you want to build AI, if you want to build something, as long as they know what you're trying to get to, you know?
Now, does Byte educate the end user on the revenue opportunities or thought processes on how the data is used, or is that just left to the marketing teams and the business owners?
So I wouldn't say we're restricted just to working with marketers. We work with a whole variety of teams that need specific data, and our approach is very consultative. Usually when somebody comes to us with a problem, we like to sit down with them and brainstorm on how can we get from point A to point B, and what do we need to accomplish in between, and how feasible is it, how quick it can be done, and are there any like restrictions? Because obviously like some websites are easier to crawl than others, depending on what region of the world it is. Like US, for the most part, companies want to be crawled because they want to stay competitive, and they want to, like Richie mentioned earlier, know exactly what their competitors are doing, right? But then if you look at other regions of the world, like China, it's very restricted because they don't like their data going out anywhere, right? And like I mentioned, it's very consultative. Every project is a case-by-case basis. So depending on what the problem is, we will do our best to educate the end user on how it works, and we do all of the heavy lifting at the end of the day, setting up all of the crawlers, you know, in Python, and then getting all of this data into them in a timely manner. And usually we like to have a 99+%, you know, accuracy rate, because you know sometimes things it's never going to be 100, right? Like it's if somebody tells you they can get 100% of the data at all times, they're full of it, you know. But we try to get as much of it as possible, and we are very realistic with what could be accomplished, as opposed to you know, just throwing out buzzwords, right?
Right. And you said it's a client by client basis. So like when it comes to, I'm not asking you for pricing because obviously it's a client by client, but what kind of factors are considered, just so people understand out there, when you're thinking about pricing for data? It's not a cookie cutter kind of thing, right? It's based on their story.
Yeah. So I mean, the first thing you look at is the complexity of the website that we're looking to get scraped. The second thing is the frequency. How often do they want to get this data up and running? Like for example, prices can change based on, you know, like Black Friday sales, or you know, Christmas, or different promotions, or you know, coupons that are coming out. So
yeah, every weekend it could
be exactly right.
Yeah.
So if let's say large retailer, like for example, if somebody wants to crawl all of the data from like different smoke shops or something of that sort, if it's a big company, they like to get it on a weekly basis for the most part, sometimes monthly. It all depends on the type of data they're looking to get, right? And it's the amount of platforms that we're scraping, because sometimes, like let's say an organization wants to get like Whole Foods, right? At the same time, they might want to get Walmart or Sprouts or any other, competing marketplaces. So depending on how many platforms and the complexity of the web scraping, that's kind of how we determine the pricing. And
Right.
before we do anything, we want to ensure that we want to run a clean POC to show them that we're actually capable of doing that. And from then on, we kind of run on a case-by-case basis, depending on what the client is looking for.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, Richie, can we even fathom a world moving forward where how could we succeed without data?
You can't. You can't, because right now it's out there and you were so used to it, and it's like non-existing without machine learning. You're just not going to do it.
Right.
And the data is out there, but the data, there's a couple of things with data. There's dirty data. So let me go over that for a minute.
Mm.
So while COVID, right, everybody went out and everybody became a scraper and everybody went out to email data. So, the scrapers saw an opportunity. It was COVID. It was great. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because there's no verification process with those emails. You don't know who they're using, if those emails were being used or not. So the scrapers just went out and scraped the data what you were looking for, right?
Right.
Then, that being said, that type of data is not good. I don't recommend anybody to go out there and scrape people's names and all that stuff, because that's not good. First of all, the average person right now has got 7 or 8 emails, okay? And you don't know which one they're using. They can work for a company. They use that the most. The personal email. I don't never use a personal email. I have one personal email. I never even use it, I just have it tied into my GoDaddy and my servers and that. And I got them forward to another email, right? So I don't even use it. So you don't know how they're, that data. That's why it's not good, because you don't know that email. If they had it at one time, they don't even have it no more. They lost the password. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not verified. It's not something like you can verify that, but that's what happened. So then you got the other side of the data. Like, for example, what we do, we give people VIN numbers of their own customers going to another place in the marketplace, okay, and moving around. So that's one type of data that has a value. The other type of data that has a value, that we're working on it, that I think we'll have that figured out probably within 6-7 months, is the locations, right? So let's say you have ABC Motors, all right, and ABC Motors buys ads from whoever, and now we know the devices that are coming in. Okay, that type of data is very important for geofencing companies and etc. Right? So that's a good data where you see your devices, and then you can see your competitors, how many devices they're getting.
So you mean literally people walking? You could see the foot traffic, the people walking.
Right. You can see literally the foot traffic based on the devices. Everything's a device today.
Right.
Basis on devices. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can get that information out. So now you have a story. You're getting all the traffic, and we tap that in with the VIN retention. You're getting all this traffic, but you're still not outselling your competitor. Your competitor has less foot traffic than you, okay? So, well, where could it be? Well, it could be that you're mismanaging your inventory or mismanaging your staff. I don't know where it could be, but I'm just showing you the analytics.
Right.
You as a dealer, you make the decision where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Go hire yourself a consultant company, something like that, So giving the information to the business owners, and at this point we're talking about dealers, giving that information, they're business owners, they know what to do and what not to do,
Right. Yeah.
And it's when your competitors are outselling you, man, it's you got some issues there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that everybody says, "Oh no, I don't care what my competitors do." Okay, good.
Yeah.
And you're really not really being truthful because everybody cares what their competitor is doing because you don't want your the only reason you care what your competitor is doing because you don't want him to put you out of business.
Right.
That's why you care.
Right.
Not for you to be competing against them, but you really should care so because knowing the knowledge is seeing 2020. Not knowing the knowledge is you're blind.
Right.
I mean, do you want to be blind?
Right.
Well, you could be,
Right. Right. Yeah. Why am I
So,
losing all my customers to the dealership down the road?
right,
And that's the beautiful thing about the SSA VIN retention report. You could see where they go.
right.
So it's unbelievable. Such an unbelievable tool. But yeah, to say you're not worried about your competition is that's got to be a bold face lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Sviat, anything else about XByte that you'd like to share today?
Um, a couple things. So the first thing, based off of what Richie was mentioning earlier, just want to give a real world example of kind of the dirty data versus clean data. And this is especially for the folks in my sales network is, back before COVID, you could just scrape a bunch of email lists, throw them into Outreach or SalesLoft and send 400 emails a day until eventually somebody responds. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's selling all the phone numbers, all the emails, and in the age of hyper automation, it has gotten to a point where nobody checks their emails anymore. Nobody wants to respond because everything looks the same. And then if you look at like ChatGPT, for example, people are blatantly using ChatGPT to write all of their emails, and everything looks exactly the same. The rocket emoji is. I'm sure if you scroll through LinkedIn, you can tell exactly who's doing what.
Yeah.
I would just say data automation, crawling, whatever you want to call it nowadays, it gets you visibility, and AI especially gets you about 70% there. It's good for research, it's good for brainstorming, it's good for writing copy, but you have to put the human element, the human touch to it, because if you don't have that, you're just like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And I think just my personal prediction is even though everything is super automated and everybody has everybody's data, it will go back to the human to human connection and just having conversations in person, going, whether we're going back to the office or not, this is kind of up for debate, but the people who will succeed in 2025 and beyond are the ones who have their data figured out, and they also have that human spark and that human element to it, because at the end of the day, everybody's human and everybody wants to have that unique connection with somebody else and not just talking to a bot 24/7.
Right. Yeah. Agree 100%.
And the whole thing is about the data part, right? If you don't have the data figure out today, it's scaling and scaling and scaling. If you don't have a good understanding about it, you got problems. A lot of dealerships out there have data science guys already. So when you send that report to a data science person, he more or less knows, like you talk about Lithia, they have data science guys there. You talk about AutoNation, they have data science guys there. Asbury Auto Group has data science people there.
Right.
So when you talk about our report, a lot of people say, well, you don't have to. The data science people in the dealership really know what they're talking about. I think the Lithia team on the data science side is one of the best that there is, most knowledgeable, and we're getting into that. That's a whole different department that needs to be open in showrooms, because you got all these people showing you this data, and you're not really understanding what it is. You need somebody to interpret to you what it is.
Right.
Not everybody has an interpretation of data. A lot of people do talk about it,
Right.
this, that, but could you really, does the data really talk to you?
Right.
Would you really see what's happening? Right?
Right.
Did you really see that? And now there's people that says, well, come up with a story. Well, data, you don't have to come up with a story. Data is, here's the VIN number, here's who traded, and here it is. Yeah, there's a percentage of VINs that are not, that you traded to your own dealership. Okay, so we can take that out of the equation. It ain't a big deal to take something like that out of the equation. It's simple. That whole thing is a real simple thing. So it's the data is there. You got the VIN numbers. What the data really does, it cleanses your DMS for direct mail people, for DMS people. That's what it really does. You can see that this VIN number went to Carfax, to CarMax. Okay, that's what you can see.
Right. And
the CarMax cars went to this place, and you can track all that down. It's the whole thing came up with it because the DMS, you got to clean that. That's dirty data there. You got people that just bought a car, and you're reaching out to them.
Yeah.
Whether it's direct mail piece, whether it's whatever piece you want. So you're not hitting in audience, in market customers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're using that as an email blast. It's the same thing as you going out and scraping emails and sending it to everybody you see. You don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's the DMS marketing is not that effective, guys. When they don't cleanse your data, when you get a DMS company, make sure they're cleansing the data. Make sure that data is being cleansed, because if it's not, it's like you doing an ad on Facebook and Google broad. You go broad. You're not hitting a precise in-market customer.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing as you doing a newspaper ad. When you do that, you want to hit in-market.
Right.
What makes it in-market? A lease expiration in the last 6 months? A loan expiration in the last 6 months? That's in-market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you see that show up. Okay, let's market these people, but you don't know if they already traded in the car.
Right.
You don't know if last year they got out of that car.
Yeah.
You don't know if they got into a car accident and totaled the car and bought something else. How do you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it really helps
You're doing it blind. You're doing it blind. With our solution, you're not doing it blind.
Right. And it helps with employee retention too, because when I was on the dealership floor, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of phone calls, and call them again. Why didn't you call them again? And I'm going, I think there's something wrong. Like, if these people were interested in any way, shape, or form, with all the nice messages and all the nice things that I'm saying to these people, I would think I would get something, and I was getting a lot of angry people saying, leave me the hell alone. I bought a car a week ago. I bought a car a month ago. I'm somewhere else now, and it was driving blind.
And XByte, one of the things that XByte does is crawl data. Now it's up to you as a business owner to figure out, how does this data work for us? We've given them a few projects in that, how does this data work for us? And we're pleased, that we're have a partnership here. How the data works for you is you get the data, Mr. Jones, and you put that data to work. And now you have analytical data. A long time ago, 10 years ago, 14 years ago, a company came out that's called Domo. Okay. Their biggest thing that Domo said was, CEOs, you don't have to be in your office anymore. You can run it on analytics. Okay. And that whole thing came to truth right now. They came up with that. I was in some sort of an event 13 or 14 years ago. I don't know where it was, or 10 years ago, whatever time it was. And they made that. They were there and they said that, right? You can actually run your company from metrics, because we are pulling in all these metrics. It's a dashboard, right? So you get the data, you pull it in with them. Domo is one of the best products out there when it comes to analytical data. Now you know what's going on in your place, in your company, right, providing that you get the right data to analyze your company and help you grow.
Right.
Because data is important. And, you know, something like dirty data you got to stay away from. And companies like Byte have clean data, have real stuff. They would never be with us on the show, and we wouldn't be doing business with them if they didn't have the real deal. Really a good company, clean company, and you know, we definitely back them up. You know, they got a great process, and we're pleased, you know, to have them on our show. And you know, data is everything. We like getting back to what you're saying. Data is everything. You just got to identify. There's a lot of companies out there that do what Byte does. The difference is clean data versus dirty data.
Right.
That's
absolutely
key.
Yeah.
And when you want to build something that's AI, reach out to us, man. We got a lot of data that can help you build AI, automation, and however you call it. You know, what is like, you know, machine learning? It has to do with automation. You know, I always say that because you have a platform. How's the delivery? How's that delivery going to be? You know, what does it get delivered? It ain't going to get delivered manually, or you'll need a bazillion people, right?
Yeah,
has to get delivery automation. You know.
Yeah.
And I've had plenty of people here that says, no, AI doesn't need automation. You know, really? I've never heard of that one, but machine learning process is a very well-versed process. You know, now they got now this AI stuff with video games now. You know what I mean? They got, and they're the first ones that really had it. They just didn't say anything to anybody because the video games programmers have always done that stuff in AI. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always been around. It's just called machine learning and the AI.
Dozens and dozens of scripts.
Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's the AI thing is taking off. And as it's taking off greater, the data becomes more valuable.
Right.
Because you can build stuff with the only way you're going to build.
Rich, I think sorry to interrupt. I think you hit the nail on the head because now as it's getting so saturated, there's going to be a plateau of companies who think they have AI, but the ones who are really going to succeed in the future are the ones who do have clean data and can, you know, run away from the pack, as as I like to call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, without data, you're not going to build anything. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Like our VIN retention tool is automation. You know, it's automated.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important. You know, this data is like unbelievable. You know.
Right.
The direct mail companies and the DMS companies, some of them, not all of them, see a lot of value in that.
As they should.
Yeah.
As they should. Yeah. People have to really get on board with the idea that it is, when you really sit back and you look at a day, one day in the life of how we live now. I wake up in the morning, I have a little alarm that goes off, I pick up my phone, there's data happening. I go into my emails, I delete certain emails, I click on certain emails, there's data happening. What am I going to have for dinner tonight? Svet's seeing that. Sviat, sorry, is seeing that. He knows what I'm going to search for dinner tonight, you know, and probably where I end up. So it should be, it's not like, and what about the data? It should be data. Everything should be data. There should be data within your organization, data coming in from outside your organization. That is what it's all about. Before we wrap up the show, I just want to really quickly, Rich, talk about Let Data Take the Wheel, which is Rich's fourth book. And I'm not plugging it because Rich is looking to get rich off the book here. It's on Amazon. It's ready to roll. And I read this already once, but I'm just going to read it one more time. All profits from this book are going to be donated to the U.S. To our U.S. military veterans who need hope in their lives. Suicide is a complex problem that impacts the military community. Stop Soldier Suicide is the only national nonprofit focused solely on solving the issue of suicide among U.S. military veterans and service members. Every dollar over the cost of publishing will be dedicated to StopSoldierSuicide.org. Let's continue to give hope to our heroes. I think that's pretty cool. Anything you just want to add about the book, Rich?
No, it was a very detailed book. It's an automotive data book, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, data is everything. I think there's a section on Sviat in here, right?
Data is everything because
Yeah.
with the data, you know where you're at. You know what you're doing. You have an idea of your marketplace. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
If you want an idea of your marketplace, you got it.
Definitely.
And you know where you're at. You're not comparing it to last year. You're not comparing it to anything. You're comparing it to your competitors, and that's where it is. You're comparing it to
Yeah.
your marketplace. And it helps you become a better marketer. It helps you become a better strategist.
Yep. Informed decision.
Strategy is everything.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And we have the X-Byte crawling along the bottom of the screen here, and your email. Better place to find you, is that info good enough? Correct.
Yeah, that's awesome. Or also always happy to connect on LinkedIn. Always happy to chat. So if anybody's watching and is interested to learn more, happy to have a conversation.
Okay, cool. That's through X-Byte or through you personally?
Through Xbyte.
X-Byte, cool. All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It really was a pleasure and very informative. And hope you enjoy the weekend.
Yep. Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us, Lee.
Yeah. Well, you have me, so thank you very much for having me by your side. And hope everyone out there has a wonderful weekend, and you're staying warm. And let's drop whatever you do. If you pray, if you send positive thoughts, whatever it is, California's on, LA's on fire, and a lot of people are losing their homes. So hope those winds die down, and the emergency personnel can take care of this, because it's pretty destructive and scary over there for a lot of people. But as for now, have a great weekend, and we will catch up with everyone again next week.
Thank you, Lee.